Alright guys, this is actually our last notes for KC8. We are looking at solving systems of equations by setting the equations equal to each other and solving algebraically or graphically. Okay. So, this first one is solving these systems graphically. Alright. So it is important to note that on like a test or quiz, if it's asking you to do one or the other, so all that graphically again means is that you can use technology, and again, we will use Desmos in order to solve it graphically. Okay. So in order to do both of these, all we have to do is type both equations into Desmos. So, we are going to go to desmos.com. Alright, and we'll start graphing these. And we are going to type just this part, right? You don't have to type the y equals. You just have to type the actual function in. So we have negative 1x squared plus 3x plus 16. Okay, so we have our first function. And our second function is 9x divided by x minus 1. Okay, we pretty much know how to use Desmos at this point, right? So this isn't too different than things we've done before. I like to zoom out to make sure I see the whole graph because there was a lot of hidden functions over here, right, or hidden intersections, right? And we just look for the intersections. And again, we've kind of done this before, so type both equations into Desmos. Should I have the pen on? And then it's supposed to be a bullet point. Look for intersections. And we only care about the x equals. Okay? Right? I don't care what the y value is at this point. Oops. Okay. So looking at Desmos, right, there's 1 here. So that's our x is negative 2. This is just showing you, it will show you like x-intercepts and y-intercepts. So it's only when the 2 points actually cross. It's also like showing us our maximum. We don't care about that, okay? So be very careful that we only care about where these points actually cross. So then we have x equals 2, 2, 2, and our other one is 4. Okay. And that's it for solving graphically. I'm going to do the same thing here. Again, I only am going to type in, we don't have to type in the y equals. We have 2x squared plus x minus 4, right? Plus x minus 4. And our other function is, now this is where we have to be careful, because if I type this whole thing in, 2x squared minus 2x minus 4, and then do the division sign, it's only going to go over the 4. So the easiest way is sometimes pull this. Actually, we don't even need this. Easier than that is 2 and then divide it by. So just type divided in and then like click back in the numerator and finish the numerator. So I have 2x squared minus 2x. And now I'll type in my denominator. So you just need to get that division sign in early, and then you can finish filling out what it is. Okay, we can zoom in and out, make sure there's no other hidden points. There's not. So we have x equals negative 1.5. Why doesn't want to go over that 1 point? And then this is where it also intersects. Oh, it doesn't there. So one of the things that's happening here is you can see here x equals 2. That's actually a hole here at x equals 2. So there's not actually a point there. So let me write that in my guide. So it looks like they cross, but you can tell because like a point didn't pop up on Desmos. So Desmos is smart enough to know. So if a point doesn't pop up, then it's not part of that solution. So if you like try to click on it and nothing pops up, then you're done. Okay. Alright. That's it for graphically. Pretty easy. Just typing it in. Things we've kind of done before. So now let's look at our example 2. Example 2 says solve the following systems of equations algebraically. Okay. By check solutions, right, make sure we check for our extraneous solutions. So the first thing we want to do, right, algebraically means I can't use Desmos. Equations equal. So I know in our last test, some of us got points off on the test because we tried to do something on our calculator, like we just graphed it to find solutions or whatever, and it said to do it algebraically. So if it says algebraically, you cannot use Desmos to help you. You have to do it without Desmos. Okay, so I'm going to first set my equations equal. So I have 4 over x equals x plus 3. Okay. Now this is pretty easy with our LCD. Oh, that's weird. I don't want that. Just kidding. LCD just equals x because it's the only denominator. Okay. So 4 over x is already good. X plus 3 doesn't have any denominator, so it needs an x. Yeah, now they have the same denominator, so I can get rid of their denominator. So now I have 4 right there equals, and I know it's just the net, right? It's the first thing equals the second thing. Okay, it's up here for now. X squared plus 3x. Now this is quadratic. There it goes. So we want to factor. Quadratic, so factor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides so that I have it equal to a 0. So I get 0 equals x squared minus 4. So what are my two numbers that add to 3 but multiply to negative 4? Well, that's x plus 4. So those are my two factors. So now I have x plus 4 equals 0, and x minus 1 equals 0. Subtract 4. Add 1. And those are your two answers. Now we want to check them. And the only denominator is x, right? If I can fit it into my, if I can fit it into my LCD, don't want that. And it doesn't equal 0, that's good. Negative 4 is just negative 4, and 1 is just 1. None of those are 0. Both of our answers are good. Alright, let's look over B really quick. Same idea. I'm going to set my equations equal. So I have, I keep choosing random things. There we go. Okay, so again, I have 9 over x equals 4x. So again, my LCD should be easy because I only have one denominator. So my LCD is just x. Nine over x is good. Four x has no denominator, so it needs that x. And it gets to become 4x squared over x. Now they have the same denominator, so I can get rid of my denominator. So I have 9 equals 4x squared. Again, this is a quadratic, so I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. So I get 0 equals minus 0 equals 4x squared minus 9. Now, we should recognize that this is difference of squares, so I'm going to take the square root of both sides, or of both numbers here, right? And I get 0 equals, well, the square root of 4 is 2, and it has an x, and 3, and we get that twice. One's plus, one's minus, right? So I have 2x plus 3 equals 0, and 2x minus 3 equals 0. I'm going to subtract 3, so we have 2x equals negative 3, and then divide by 2. I'm going to move this down. So x equals negative 3/2. If you'd like to write that as a decimal and get negative 1.5, that is more than fine. Add 3. 2x equals positive 3. Divide by 2. X equals 3/2. Alright, and that is it. Okay? Otherwise, I will see you guys. Oh, I won't see you guys. That's just usually what I say. Otherwise, please stay healthy. Please keep working. Oh, what I was going to do next is show you what your activity actually is. So we're doing it on Desmos again. And so you'll go to student.desmos.com. Whatever, it knows my name, but it doesn't have to know yours. And you'll have one of these two codes, right? I believe this is first period, this is second period. I'll type in the first period one. Okay. They're on the website, so you know which one to click. Enter your name, whatever. That's fine. Okay. So it just has a few questions at the beginning. So it just asks, like, what are the equations? You can just type in x equals, right? So those are the first two. Now for this one, it's asking you to match the solutions, right? So again, it's that drag and drop, right? If there's more, you can add more than one to it. This first one is graphing. So what I'm going to do is, in another tab, I'll open Desmos so that I have the graphing calculator, and so I'm just flipping between these two tabs to actually graph it and find those solutions and match them. Once you do that, now the next one is solve it algebraically. I accidentally forgot. Maybe I'll fix it before tomorrow. But to take this off, you're just, again, matching the solutions, but this one is algebraically. Please do practice it algebraically. I have no way of actually knowing if you're doing it graphically or algebraically. But again, this is all just practice, and if you don't practice, you won't be able to do it. So make sure you are practicing it algebraically. Okay? Hit next. Whatever, just a fun little reflection question at the end. Once you submit this, you just close out of it, right? You don't have to finish anything. I see that you have finished. Okay? All right. Work on that. Have a good day. Stay healthy. Hope to see you guys soon.